think the themes at Sibos 2015 will be technology. There's a lot of great work underway by various firms and the banks, and I think we'll have moved from concept stage into reality as people get more comfortable with some of the changes that are occurring. The regulatory environment remains uncertain, but I believe that the banks and the regulators will have clarified some of the approaches that are being taken. And I think China and the Chinese economy will be talked about as we look very carefully to understand the impacts on changes in the performance on merchandise trade.
I think we'll be talking about the new players in the industry and how the business has evolved. One of the things that we're seeing pretty much across the board is a significant change in how business gets done and new players in the business. And so I think that's going to have a big impact on how banks operate.
Don't have my crystal ball, but I would say a few things. RMB, digitalization, data protection, regulation, and infrastructure related to how we support all of the above.
Well, being in Singapore, we'll be in Asia. That's going to be a heart of a lot of trends that I talked about earlier. So we'll certainly be talking about RMB again. Singapore in particular is a hub. Commodities trading, wealth management, and again we'll be talking about just how further the development has been. I think we'll also be talking about the recovery of trade. As I said earlier, it's been flat over the past 18 months or so, but we expect to see it come back over the next year. And we'll be talking about how we take advantage of some of the new corridors that have been opening up, particularly within the ASEAN region, where we do expect to see continued and significant growth. So those are kind of the things that I expect you to see us talk about.
My hope is that next year we'll be talking about some of the successes of some of the examples that we talked about this year with respect to collaboration across the industry and how we use those to determine the path forward for more collaboration across FMIs and our client base.
So in Singapore in 2015, number one, I imagine we're going to be talking about the successes that we've had over the course of the year since Sibos 2014. Secondly, in 2015, I believe we're going to be talking about how we as an industry have brought the entire correspondent banking business to a new level of higher standards, greater transparency, and meeting the needs of our ultimate customers to an even greater degree.
I hope one of the things we're talking about is the comeback of trade in the emerging markets. It's been pretty flat this year. It's going to be, well, we've got 12 months, but in 12 months I do hope that's the comeback story then, because that will mean a lot to giving this business a real boost.
I think cybersecurity will be a big topic, regulation as always, and I think virtual currencies, whether it's Bitcoin or beyond, it could be Bitcoin technology, but I think there'll be definitely something around virtual currencies and what opportunities that provides for the industries and what challenges it provides for the industry.
I hope with every part of me we're talking about rising rates and the fact that interest rates have actually begun to rise in the United States and in other countries where they are at record low rates.
Difficult to say because our things are moving very quickly. I would very much expect that we are talking even more about trade corridors, because I'll say Southeast Asia as a whole is one of the regions which is most interested in the type of accompaniment we can give them across Western Europe, across Africa again. So I think that will be center of the topic. And as say those geographies are relatively scattered, they're always eager across Asia to have more integrated solutions. So I think we'll speak about innovation, we'll speak about digitalization of our tools and also local adaptation of our tools. Just to name one, we have just brought to the market a Mandarin version of our e-banking for corporates. I think that will be very much put to the fore at Singapore.
I think there will be a couple of issues, and they're really they're continuations of what's going on this year. One will be a certain post-mortem on how T2S has been implemented in the first wave. Is that potentially a model for Asia? I don't see it at the moment, but I think there will be some lessons learned coming out of the implementation. And I think the second part is, again, coming back to regulatory issues. Where are we now at a more concrete level with starting to fix all of the regulations that have come in thick and fast? Traditionally, what's happened is the regulation is brought into effect, and then we need to fix them with follow-on bits. And I think that's something that we will be looking at next year and saying, is the regulation that was brought in a flurry of regulation post the financial crisis, is it fit for purpose? Is it achieving what it should be achieving? And what, in fact, are the unintended consequences and the implications of those consequences? What do we need to fix next?